We are on our last grammar point of the year. Yes, I said that. All right, it's an exciting time. We are at the end of WEIRDOS, and this is the S. And the S stands for someone, something. This one is probably the hardest one, I guess, to figure out. Hopefully, because we've done the W-E-I-R-D and the O, this one isn't going to be as hard to understand because hopefully by now you've kind of understood what subjunctive gets us, right? This one, though, is the one that, like, when I am speaking in my Spanish, this is the one that will slip through the cracks for me when I'm speaking in Spanish. And what do I mean by slip through the cracks? Well, I'll say my sentence in Spanish, I'm speaking quick, and afterwards I'm like, oh, that was supposed to be in the subjunctive. Because it's just so subtle, I guess. The wanting and the wishing and the possibles and the doubting. Doubting is so easy eventually when you become a fluent speaker. Those ones are pretty easy to see coming, right? But these ones can be a little hard to detect. And you'll see when I get to the end of it. But because you're in it right now, hopefully it won't be so bad. You'll be looking for it, right? But all right, so we're on our final letter, the S, someone, something, and you again are going to have a toot list, okay? So this right here, I'm probably going to lose all this talking these words up here before the chart. I'm probably going to lose a lot of you, okay? You're going to maybe get a little frustrated, but then hopefully when I get into the toot list here and I get into some concrete examples, you will finally understand what I'm talking about. It'll click, hopefully. And if it doesn't, of course, you can come see me on a Zoom, okay? Getting a few kids, I don't even know if I can say a few, maybe a couple kids, visiting me on my Zooms. But you can always come ask me a question on Zoom, okay? Or, email me if you don't feel comfortable being on a Zoom asking me a question. Email me, message me through Schoology, remind, so lots of ways to make sure you get this understood. Subjunctive is a huge part of Spanish 4. Okay, Miss Metro spends a lot of time on it. She reviews it, she goes over it, and then you'll also learn your past subjunctive. So you got to get a good grasp of this to be able to do that. But I'm sure she'll even review more so next year because of, COVID-19. So a lot of us teachers are going to backpedal, of course, when we come and see you guys next year. But okay, so we're going to get started here. When you have a group of words that modifies a noun, okay, and the reason why I'm going to lose not all of you, but a lot of you, is I get into a lot of grammar talking here. So when you have a group of words that modifies a noun, those words are called a relative clause. Okay, a relative clause. These relative clauses can describe a noun that refers to a definite, comma, specific, comma, existing person or thing. Person or thing. Okay? So that noun that we're describing can actually be talking about something that is, existing, specific. Or that relative clause can be just referring to an indefinite. So I'm going to go opposite with all these words here. Indefinite, non-specific, non-existent. I'll just say existing, I don't know. Non-existing person or thing. Okay. When the clause refers to definite, specific, existing noun, the verb in the clause is in the indicative. Okay, so we're going to have that challenge again, like we did in the doubting, but this one's going to be even a little harder. You have to decide whether it's subjunctive or not. Okay, when we started with the W and the E and the I and the R, they all were pretty straightforward because they all cause subjunctive. Then we got into the D, and the D caused a little bit of problems because, you know, you had to actually like analyze the sentence and figure out whether it had doubt or not, right? And then we got to the O was pretty straightforward, and now we're back to, hey, you might not have subjunctive every single time in this section. When the clause refers to an indefinite, okay, so I'm going the opposite way here. Okay, gotta make sure you guys can see this. An indefinite, non-specific, non-existing, not existing, however you want to say it. Now, the verb in the clause is in the subjunctive then. Okay, and I'll hopefully clear up all that in a little bit. You got to give me a couple minutes still here. Also, note that the personal disappears when you use the subjunctive. So if you end up with a subjunctive sentence, make sure you don't have a personal okay? If you have an indicative sentence, okay, which means not subjunctive, then most likely you're going to have that if it's a person that is being dealt with. All right, so just some handy dandy vocab, okay, because you're going to be using it a little bit. Someone or somebody in Spanish is the word alguien. You may have heard me say that in class on any particular day. When I say, like, when I'm looking for someone, right, which that's what I mean, someone, I might say alguien más, alguien voluntario, but I do say the alguien. Okay, something, okay, not someone, but something in Spanish is, it's another AL word, algo. You're going to learn these words in Spanish 4, officially. Like the someone, the no one, the something, the nothing. You'll get those words, which they're pretty handy to know. All right, so what are my tutus? Well, like all the other lists, these lists could go on and on, okay? So you got to get like the gist of it to be able to move on from here and realize, oh, wait, you know what? I think my history would have had this on a tutut list if she would have, you know, had 30 words on that list, okay? But these, I think, are the most common ones, so these are the ones I'm going to be using, but I could throw in one on a homework assignment, and you can't just pick, well, it's not on my list, it's not subjunctive. Okay, you can't do that. You got to understand the sentence, okay, and then figure out whether it's subjunctive or not. But, all right, so my first tutut in this group is to want, and I know you already had to want, but this want is not like, I want that she leave. I want, or they want that they walk away. He wants that she go down to the principal's office. Okay, it's not used in that way. It's still wanting, okay, don't get me wrong, but it's used in a different way, and you'll see it when we get to our examples here. But in Spanish, that verb is going to be just like in English. It didn't change. Querer, to want, to want. Okay, so we got querer. We got the to need again. I know you're going to say, Maestro, we already have this one. But again, like I said, we're going to use it in a very different way. We're going to be using it with noun, these relative clauses. So, all right, the next one is to not have. Okay, so we're very particular with whether it's not or not. Okay, if it's not or it doesn't have the not. Okay, to not have is no tener. Okay, so if it says tener, that is not subjunctive. Okay, it's very specific here. To look for. To look for is buscar. And remember with buscar, when you conjugate this verb, the for is already there. So you don't need to say, yo busco para. It sounds terrible. Or yo busco por. No, no, no. Okay? All these verbs are tututs. They're going to cause the subjunctive. They're going to all be conjugated in the present tense. or maybe future. For our purposes, I'm just going to stick to present because it's just too much to try and do more than that, especially the way we're learning all this. All right, and the last one that I decided to choose is to not know. Okay, to not know. And the verb isn't the verb saber, it's the other to know verb. Anyone? Anyone? No. Conocer. Good job. No, conocer. All right, so if you think about it, these verbs, okay, like I want a sport that I will have to exercise a lot. Okay, that will become a subjunctive sentence. Needing. She needs a dog that, okay, and hear my that, okay? She needs a dog that does not shed. That's going to be a subjunctive sentence. To not have. I don't have, we'll do it something. We don't have, okay, wait, we don't have, and now this is what this is getting into. Okay, I'm not going to just say, we don't have school tomorrow. Okay, that's not subjunctive. I need to be describing it. That's what all of this was talking about. So, like, for example, we don't have a computer that, and now what am I going to do? I'm going to describe that computer. And that's what this was all talking about. Okay, so that's why I mentioned all this, is because that's what I'm doing in my sentence. I am describing this noun with many words. Okay, so that's just what it was. But, okay, so, we don't have a computer that has a microphone. Boom. To look for. Okay, she is looking for a judge. Okay, now here comes my verb in the clause that refers to, that specific noun, which in our case is the judge. She is looking for a judge that will give him a fair trial, or even give her a fair trial. Okay, I didn't have to change the subject there or anything like that. Because really, I did change the subject. I don't want you to think I did not. The first subject in that sentence was she. She is looking for a judge that. Now, who is the subject in the second clause? It's the judge. Okay, she is looking for a judge that will give her a fair trial. All right, not knowing. Okay, I don't know. Okay, now this has to be a person. Okay, because conocer has to be people. I don't know a nurse that doesn't deserve all the credit. Okay, something like that. Okay, I don't know. Okay. All right, so we are going to try and just look at these sentences. I've already given you an example, right, just verbally. But now let's look at these ones. It just asks, are they subjunctive or not? I am looking for someone that speaks Spanish well. All right, so I see my tutu in English. I am looking for, okay? And what am I looking for? I am looking for someone. This someone is my, let's see if I can figure this out. This is, my someone is my specific person that I'm talking about, okay? But they're not very specific because I'm looking for them. Does that make sense? So I'm actually down here, okay? I'm looking for someone that, and then I go ahead and I describe this noun with a verb. What's my verb that's describing this noun? Right here, speaks Spanish well. See how this verb, I'm gonna let my video camera focus. Okay. The way I'm describing the someone is using a verb. Okay. I'm going to say that in a different way. This verb structure here, this little verb clause, describes my someone. And if my someone does not exist, well, then when I go and describe that someone using a verb, those verbs are going to be in the subjunctive. Bam. Okay, I hope that made sense. I'm going to say it again. I've got this person out here. Okay, I'm just referring to them as a someone. But when I go and describe them, I'm not saying she's pretty, or I need someone who is skinny, or someone who is Puerto Rican, okay? I am using a verb to describe that person. And that verb is going to be in the subjunctive if I don't know they exist. And if you look, do I know they exist? I am looking for. I don't know. I'm looking for them. So when I go and describe this someone with verbs, these verbs are all gonna be in the subjunctive. So this is a subjunctive sentence. The I am looking for is a toot toot. Okay, it is your buscar. Okay. Here comes my second example. I know someone that speaks Spanish well. Okay, it's kind of like the counterpart here. I'm looking for someone that speaks Spanish well. I know someone that speaks Spanish well. Now, is this going to be a subjunctive sentence? Well, let's look. I am using a verb to describe the person. Okay, so that's the big question here. Is this speaks going to be in the subjunctive or in the indicative? Well, it all depends on whether this someone exists. For sure. Well, it says right here, I know someone. So, not subjunctive. I'm going to write an I for indicative. Okay. I have just these. Okay. Salud. Muchas gracias. Okay. Let's keep going. We have a friend. So this will end up being tener. Ooh, tener is part of my book, my to list. No, it is not. Okay, if you look here, it's no tener. Okay, so that makes a big difference. Okay, so no tener is going to get you subjunctive. Okay, but this isn't no tener. This is going to become tener. We have a friend that. Okay, now watch what I do. I'm describing my friend with verbs. Plays soccer on that team. So when I get to this word, plays, what tense am I going to put this in? What mood am I going to put this in? Am I going to put it in the subjunctive or in the indicative? Well, it all depends on whether this friend exists. Well, does this friend exist in my life? Yeah, it says we have a friend. Okay, I could point him out to you. He's over there, number 18 on the Nationals team. All right, his name is Joe. So this is not a subjunctive sentence. It's indicative. If this said we do not have a friend, which would be kind of a strange sentence. We do not have a friend that plays on that soccer. Well, I guess that would be okay. That would be subjunctive, though. I want a house that has 4 bedrooms. Okay, so up until this point, it was always a person, right? Someone, a friend. And this isn't just someone. This is also something. So now I've got a thing in question here. But watch what I do. I take this thing, which is the house, and I describe it using verbs. And that's what that whole first paragraph of the grammar point was talking about. So when I go and describe this house having 4 bedrooms, what am I going to do with that have? Is it going to be in the subjunctive or in the indicative? Well, it's all about whether this house exists. Does this house exist? I want a house that has 4 bedrooms. I want a house. Want is querer. Is querer part of my toot list? Yep, it's that first one. Okay, it does not exist yet. Okay, going back to, and I haven't done this up until now, but is it a definite, specific, existing noun? I want a house. No, it is indefinite, non-specific, not existing yet. And what do I tell you to do? Well, use the subjunctive in those cases. So the house at this moment is not specific. I want a house. Okay, I don't know what house it is. And now you might, play devil's advocate here and say, well, Maestro, I'm going to eventually find that house and move into it. Well, then, when you move into it, then that house exists, and everything you talk about and describe with that house will be in the indicative. But at this point, I don't know what house it is. It's non-specific. Do you see how that works? Because it says, I want a house. The wanting and the all point towards subjunctive. Yeah, I know. Eventually I'm going to find a house that has 4 bedrooms, and there's hundreds and millions of them all over. But which one am I going to pick? It's not specific yet. And that's what this was all talking about. Okay? So this is a subjunctive sentence. Okay? Now, I'll go as far as to say, I don't know if I should do this because it might confuse you, but if it said I want the house that has 4 bedrooms, I want the house that has 4 bedrooms. The minute I change the to a the, does that change house from non-specific to specific? Yes, it does. Okay. I want the house. It sounds like I already know which one it is. I saw it. I walked through it yesterday. The real estate agent took me through it. And so now I'm telling him, hey, I want the one, right? The one, do you remember, that has the 4 bedrooms. That would not be subjunctive. Okay? So I need that with that want. Okay? All right, I don't need a student that is bilingual. I don't need a student that is bilingual. All right, so needing. Is needing part of our vocab? Toot list. Yes, it is. But this is I don't need. And here it says to need. Okay, so is this subjunctive or not? Well, this is where I say to you, you know what? You need to be able to figure out sentences even if the toot isn't on your list, because you should have a good enough grasp of the subjunctive to be able to make that decision. I don't need a student that is bilingual. The student, is he specific or non-specific? Does he exist or does he not exist? Okay, I don't need a student that is bilingual. It is non-specific, so this is going to be subjunctive. You're going to say, well, wait, no isn't on my toot list. Well, it isn't, but you still need to be able to identify, right? So that's going to be a subjunctive sentence. Whether you need them or not, they don't exist, subjunctive. You can't find a band that sings well. Maybe you're getting married and you need a band. You can't find, okay, I'm doing it again to you. Find, I don't know if you remember find, it was in the holidays chapter, and without being at school every single day, driving these words into your brains with my actividades, you may have not been able to retain it as well as you normally do. But find was on our holidays vocab, and it's encontrar, all right? But regardless of encontrar, we're working with English here. So you should be able to tell me whether this is a subjunctive sentence or not. You can't find a band that sings well, that can sing well. You can't find a band. The band is the word in question here. Do they exist? Are they specific? Are they definite? Can I put a name to them? Oh, it's the Black Eyed Peas, okay? Or, other way, doesn't exist yet. I know there might be out there, okay? I'm sure there's a band out there that can sing well. But for me, for right now, in my moment, this band is non-specific, doesn't exist, indefinite. What way are you going to go? Specific or not specific? Not specific. You can't find them. You don't know where they are. You don't know who they are. They're not specific. So when I go and describe them over here, because they don't exist yet, I need to describe them in a subjunctive way. I need something that will help her. I don't even know what that thing is. Okay, I need something that will help her. All right. I needing. Okay, let's take a look. That helps us out. Needing is part of the toot list for subjunctive. That's something. Is it specific? No. Okay, it doesn't even mention what it is. It could be, I need a tool. I need food. I need a person. Well, it can't be a person, I guess. It's something, but I need a book that will help her. I need a class that will help her. I don't even know what this thing is. Okay. So needing, this word something, subjunctive. Okay. So when I go and do the will help, that will be in the subjunctive. I am looking for a teacher that will work full time. All right. I am looking for, I'll flip this over. Looking for, there it is, to look for is buscar. And you can look, there's a teacher. All right. I am looking for a teacher. I don't know who she is yet. Okay. I know I'll be able to find her. There's lots of teachers out there that want to work full time. But right now, in this moment, when I'm describing her, she doesn't exist for me. Okay. If I were to look at these categories, she's not here. Okay. She's not definite yet. Okay. I can't put a name to her. I can't point her out of a crowd. She's still down here for me. And when she's like this, she's indefinite. She's subjunctive. And remember, I'm not going to use the person a lot with her either. Okay, we'll see that when we actually do the sentences. Okay, but this is going to be subjunctive. Now, let me dare to say, if this said the, I am looking for the teacher that works full time. I think that will work. Yeah, I'd have to kind of get rid of that will too for it to work. Now I've made it specific. Okay, it's not an it's a the. So I must have run into her at some point. I can, look her name up and be like, oh, yep, that's her name. Yep, that's the one. Okay, makes it very specific. That would not be subjunctive then. Okay, the minute I say I am looking for the teacher, it changes the looking for. It sounds like I know who she is already and I'm just looking for her now. Okay. All right, now it just says translate the sentences. So we're going to just work on translating these sentences we've gone through into Spanish. I am looking for. Okay, so I'm going to come over here if I need help. I find out how to say to look for. It's buscar. I know you see ing, okay, in our English sentence, but I am so not going to do ing. A native speaker would just say busco. And once again, there's my toot toot. It is not in the subjunctive. I did not opposite vowel anything. This is just simple present tense. Busco. Okay, now I don't have my K yet. Okay, if you look at my English sentence, I don't have my K or my that coming up yet either. Okay, I am looking for someone. So I need to do that someone. Remember the for. I already just skipped over it, but I do want to bring it to your attention. I am just skipping it because buscar means to look for. So this word alone means I am looking for. Now I need to do that someone. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to figure out how to say someone. Someone is alguien. Busco alguien. There's no personal in front of alguien. Okay, it's not a person, it's just someone. That personal in order to be able to use it, needs to be very specific. Okay, so busco alguien. Now here comes my K, my good old K. In English we do the that. Okay, now here comes my speaks Spanish well. You already told me, we already discussed, that this is a subjunctive sentence. It's not subjunctive there. It's going to be subjunctive here when I go and describe this person that doesn't exist actually yet. So hablar, speaking, right? Speak Spanish, hablar. I'm going to conjugate it to the alguien. Who's doing the speaking? It's not I am speaking. I'm looking for. Who's doing the speaking? That's someone. And someone is in the he, she spot. Okay? So I'm going to go hablar, conjugate into yo, chop off the yo, add opposite vowel, and then put it into the he, she spot. And this is going to be hable. Okay, hable español bien. Bien means well, bueno means good. Okay. I know someone that speaks Spanish well. All right, I know someone. Well, we just talked about knowing people is conocer. I'm not going to put the no in front because I want to say I know, not I don't know. So I know is going to be, anyone remember conocer? It's a little bit of a strange verb in the yo. ZCO. Conozco. Conozco a alguien. Now the a hops back in. Why is the a going to be here? Because this is an indicative sentence. They exist. They earned their a because they are that person. Conozco a alguien. This alguien is very different than this alguien. This one, we don't know who that person is. This one we do. And that's why we have that a in front. Okay. I may have said earlier that we'd never have an a in front of an alguien, but now I'm realizing we will. Okay. So, conozco a alguien. But when they say it, it's so that you hardly even hear it. Conozco a alguien. Okay, now I'm going to do my K. Now I do know this person. They exist. They're standing right here next to me. Okay, so there's no doubt there. They work. They exist. They speak Spanish well. So I'm not going to do anything out of the ordinary. It's just going to be nice, simple present tense when I go and describe this person. Yo conozco a alguien que habla español bien. Okay, I'm going to underline my E, underline my A, just to kind of show you. All right, we have a friend that plays soccer on that team. All right, we already talked about how number 3 is just a nice, simple, present tense, indicative sentence. because we know this person. We have a friend. So we have is going to be tenemos un amigo. Okay, tenemos un amigo. Okay, now I'm going to go and describe that person. So that's why we're going to do the K. Even in English, we would do the K, so that's why it's kind of not too bad as far as word order is concerned, okay? They do the same thing in Spanish as we do in English. Tenemos un amigo que we have a friend that plays soccer on that team. Okay, I've got jugar. Who's doing the playing? The friend. I already said it's an indicative sentence, so I'm just going to have to figure out how to do jugar in the present tense. He, she, and I get juega. Football. On that team. In, how do I say team? Anyone remember? It's actually the same word as equipment. Equipo. But I got to do the that. Okay? And hopefully you haven't forgotten what we used to do. We'd point down. We'd say este, esta. But then when we pointed over into that corner, the back corner of my classroom, what would we say for the that? All right, good job. We would get rid of that T and we'd say ese equipo. Because it's masculine, singular. Okay? Ese equipo. Número cuatro. I want a house that has 4 bedrooms. All right? There's nothing subjunctive about that. Como se dice I want? Yo quiero. Okay, yo quiero que. No, wait, let's see. We're not quite there yet, actually. I want a house. The K doesn't happen yet. Okay, quiero a house, una casa. Okay, yo quiero una casa. Now comes my K. I can put it in big capital letters like I've done on previous grammar points. Quiero una casa que. Now, we talked about this. This house does not exist. It's in the subjunctive. So quiero una casa que. And now when I go and describe this house that doesn't exist quite yet, I need to put everything that I talk about in the subjunctive if there's verbs, okay? If I said I want a green house, there's nothing subjunctive there because I'm not using verbs to describe the house, if that makes sense. I want a house on that street. There's no second verb. But the minute I put in a verb, like I want a house that has a big yard. I want a house that is green. There, that would be subjunctive. But I want a green house. I've managed to say that sentence without using subjunctive. Yo quiero una casa verde. Okay? All right. Quiero una casa que has. Has is tener. I put it in the subjunctive. I'm going to get tenga. 4 cuartos. Okay, make sure you don't say 4 fours. Okay, 4 cuartos. The R comes before the T here. Here, the R comes after the T. 4 cuartos. All right, number 5. I don't need a student that is bilingual. All right, let's get that toot out of the way. I don't need. No necesito. No necesito. I'm not doing my K yet. I have a student. So I'm going to have that. No necesito un estudiante. Okay, I'm not going to put the personal a here because this is a subjunctive sentence. And it says right here, when you have a subjunctive sentence, you don't use the personal a. Now you might ask, why not use the personal a here? This is an indicative sentence. And there's something weird about tener, okay? And you just don't see the personal a too much with tener. You do in certain circumstances, but in these ones you don't. So it's kind of, I don't know, maybe like a little bit of a rule breaker. But okay, I don't need a student. Now here comes my K. The fact that I don't need them means that they don't exist. I see the that's another big huge hint, not the. K. Okay, now I'm talking about the student being bilingual. So up here it says is bilingual. Well, whenever we see is, okay, in this kind of context, we always have 2 choices. We have ser and a star. So we have to think about being bilingual. Is that a ser situation or in a star situation? Ser is like your characteristics, your personal traits, physical traits, things that can't like quickly change, okay? Estar is your moods, your conditions, your feelings, things that you could probably, change quickly. So being bilingual, personal traits, mood. All right, you're right. It's like a personal trait. Okay, it's something that you are. Okay, it's not going to change overnight. So we're going to use ser. We're going to use ser in the subjunctive because we don't need the students, so they don't exist for us. They're indefinite. So can we do ser in the subjunctive? Think of dishes. It's one of those S's. It's the student, so we're in the he, she spot. And yes, you're going to get sea. And then the word for bilingual in Espanol as bilingüe. Okay, now that word right there is bilingue. So I need to get the gue. We don't hardly ever hear this sound in Espanol, okay? But there are a few words in the Spanish language that do gue and gui, okay? And the way they create that sound, okay, is by doing something that you probably never thought the Spanish do, okay? So I want this to say bilingüe. Well, right now it's gay. So what we're going to do is we're going to put, and I don't even know what you call it, the two little dots above the U. Yep, it does exist in Spanish, but it's just not very common. So there it is, bilingüe. One word that comes to my mind right now that has it is pinguino. I don't know if this is penguino or pinguino. My guess, pinguino, ping. I want to say ping. So this is not pinguino, it's pingui, just like gue here. And so that's going to get the double dot above. This is a very popular slang word in Mexico. Okay, if you're lighter skinned, blonde hair, well, lighter skinned and just, lighter colored hair, the Mexicanos like to call you güero or güera. Okay, I hear it all the time. Well, I heard it all the time because they called me güera when I was living in Mexico. And then I hear it all the time when I'm watching my Spanish, my Mexican shows, and they're speaking in Spanish. Okay, some of those really popular shows that are on right now, like Narcos, I can hear the word güero in there, and güera. They call it anybody who just has like the lighter skin than they do. Okay, sorry that I went off on that, but okay, number 6, you can't find a band. All right, tú no. Okay, this is not you don't find. This is you can't find. So we got to do that can. Okay, sometimes we miss the can. So this is just simple present tense. All of these verbs at the very beginning here have been simple present tense. Okay, we're not conjugating these with opposite vowel subjunctive. No. They're going to cause the subjunctive maybe later on, depending on what they're saying. But all right, so tú no puedes. All right, to find is encontrar, to encounter. I leave it in the infinitive because this verb has already been conjugated. Tú no puedes encontrar. Okay, now I'm not quite at my K yet. Okay, I have to tell what I can't find, which is the band. And if we remember how to say that from the holidays chapter, una banda, I believe was on your list. Tú no puedes encontrar una banda. Now here comes my K. That can sing well. Okay, again, we can't lose the can. Okay, we're not just saying you can't find a band that sings well. It's that can sing well. So we got to do the can again, like we did here. But we're going to opposite vowel this. Why? Well, because this band is non-existent for us. We can't find it. Okay. Who's doing the can? The band. Okay. So I'm not going to conjugate this to the U. I'm going to conjugate it to the band. And I'm going to get que pueda. And then I'm just going to leave this in the infinitive. Cantar. Sorry. I'm off my paper here. Que pueda cantar bien. Not bueno. Because in English, we would not say good. I know we might, okay? Sings good. But in English, we should be saying well. And when you should be saying well in English, well, then you're going to be saying bien en español. Remember that. I need something that will help her. I need something that will help her. All right, yo necesito. Nice, simple present tense. There's no opposite vowel subjunctive yet. I need something. Well, how do I do something? Well, I can take a look back at my little cheat sheet here. Something is algo. Necesito algo. All right, now I think I'm ready for my K. Yes, I need something that. So my next word is going to be K. Is this subjunctive? Yes, I'm needing something. It's very non-existent at this point. I don't even know what it is. Okay, that will help her. Okay, notice in English we do the will. I need something that helps her. I know we'd probably throw in that will in our present tense, in our English, but in Spanish, it's just going to go into subjunctive. There's no like future subjunctive. We're just going to put in the subjunctive, but in our English brains, that is the equivalent. Okay, necesito algo que. Now, what am I going to, ayudar is the verb. Who's doing the helping? Well, it's the something. It's this object that's helping, right? I'm not going to conjugate this to the yo. Okay, I need something that will help her. Who's doing the helping? The something. What's doing the helping, I guess is what I should say. The something. Okay, so ayudar, I'm going to conjugate it in the yo. Chop off the o. Add opposite vowel. Conjugate it to the something. Something is in the he, she spot. And I'm going to get ayude. That helps her. Okay, so we got to figure out this her. Okay, her can be a tough. Her can be a la. Her can be a lay. It would be herself if it was a say. So these are really my two choices. So we have to figure out, is it a la situation or a lay situation? Well, if it's a la, it's the direct object then. Okay, if it's lay, then you're telling me it's the indirect object. The direct object tells me what is being blanked or who is being blanked. And that blank is your verb. So does it answer that question? Who is being helped? Let's look at lay. The lay is going to answer this question. To whom, it has to have a to, or for whom. Those two little words are very important, the to and the for. To whom or for whom is it being helped? Is it being helped to her, or is it just helping her? Is the question, right? So what question does this answer better? Who is being helped? Or to whom is it being helped? It's la. Okay? Her with help is a direct object. What is being helped? She's being helped. Okay? So I'm going to squeeze in la right there before my conjugated verb. Okay? Because that's where these little words go. I didn't see it coming. Okay? La ayude. I am looking for a teacher that will work full time. All right. I am looking for, I think we started off with I am looking for. Busco. I am looking for a teacher. Okay, so busco, it's not going to be alguien, because that would be for someone. And I'm getting a little bit more specific as far as occupation, but the person themselves is still not specific, whether it's Mrs. Jones or Mrs. Smith. Okay, so busco una maestra. Oh, un maestro. I'll keep it masculine. Busco un maestro. This is going to end up being subjunctive. We already talked about this. I don't know who this teacher is going to end up being. Sure, I'll find them eventually, but right now I'm looking for them. So they don't exist. No personal law. Okay, even though this is a person, I'm not going to put a personal law in front because it's a subjunctive sentence. Busco un maestro. Now here comes my description using a verb about that teacher. And so all those verbs are going to be in the subjunctive while I describe her. So if I had a few things here, like I am looking for a teacher that will work full time, deny benefits, and work on Saturdays. All of those verbs would be in the subjunctive because they're all referring to this teacher that I don't know exists yet. Okay, so busco un maestro que will work. I know I see this will, okay, but I won't end up using will like a future, okay? I'm just going to put it in the subjunctive and I'll get that will feeling. So trabajar, conjugated to the teacher, and I get, okay, we're going to conjugate trabajar to the teacher, but right now, my first step is to conjugate it in the yo. I don't want to confuse you. Conjugate it in the yo. Chop off the yo, add opposite vowel, plus now we're going to conjugate it to the maestro, and we're going to get trabaje. There's my opposite vowel. There's my opposite vowel right there. Okay, trabaje. This is an E. Full time. Hopefully we remember how to say that. It's in our chapter right now. Que trabaje a tiempo completo. And that is the grammar for this year. Okay, I will not be showing you another grammar point for this year. There is one grammar point I skipped over, but I will definitely let the Spanish 4 teacher know this, and she will teach it to you like it's a brand new topic for you. You'll all be in the same boat. Okay, there's no other Spanish 3 teacher, so you'll be just like everyone else, not having that point. Don't forget you have the list, the weirdos list. So one more little video, to go. You need to copy these toot toots over to the list. And like I said, I wouldn't just copy them over and skip my video, because I like to talk while I'm teaching, and some of those things might click for you as I approach them in a different way. But so we are officially done with the grammar points. We will now just continue to work on homework assignments. And I have a book that I'm going to have you be reading. It doesn't really like concentrate on the subjunctive. There will be subjunctive in there, but so that will be what we'll fill up the rest of our weeks with, is reading this book. But the book is going to be pleasantly easy for you, for most of you. It is a book. I don't know if I should be talking about this now or actually create another video talking about the book, but yeah, maybe I'll just create another video for you about the book. But okay, so I'm going to be done now. All right, talked long enough. Adios.